TikTok time to rock. We're over here kicking it live with a squeaky flow. We'll knock you down like a domino.
Yeah, yo.
How you doing, man?
Me? Splendid. How are you doing?
Good. Gonna be talking about some stuff. What's up?
What do you mean, what's up?
What's going on?
Oh yeah. Everything's good.
Share your feelings with the group, man. Share your feelings with the group. Pa State of Allah did. She said, hey.
Hey, Positive Allah, what's up? I'm doing very well. Just in the middle of doing lots of things. So every day is kind of a new busy day. And then now we have a lot of snow here. And I'm kind of stuck in the house. Couldn't go to church this morning because I got stuck. So very interesting times. But then just spend the time setting things up and building things and all that like a good man. So that's how my days are going right now.
What the heck is this, man?
What?
Look at this.
I can't look at. Hey, man, it's so great to see you here, Mike. It's such an honor to see you here. I'm your biggest fan. I'm so honored that you're here. Thank you for coming here.
He like Winger's getting he's like worse than Sam Shamoon now with the stalking. Just shows up out of nowhere and it's like, hey, let me derail your entire discussion.
It's amazing. It's always when Mike Winger is here, you know that it's going to be good. So.
About to cancel, man. I'm about to shut down and give up on this whole stream. Anyway, hey, you heard of this Tucker Carlson guy?
Have I? Of course I have.
Dude seems kind of mental, man. I know you love his the beautiful sound of his laugh, but it sounds creepy to me.
It is pretty creepy. I mean, it's kind of funny because he was at the we listened to it, we saw it, right? He's at the memorial for Charlie Kirk, and there he's saying something completely dumb and goes, like, really, man? This guy has just become completely unhinged. I never liked him.
Could you imagine this guy like if he actually went to like the funeral or something like that?
Yeah, and then
cackling weirdly. It's weird stuff, man. Anyway, a lot of people were interested in his discussion with Piers Morgan, which I accidentally, when I went to look for it, I accidentally got a different one. So apparently, 10 months or a year ago, they had a discussion. It was in Saudi Arabia. They were having a discussion in Saudi Arabia. So I actually downloaded that, and I was started to go through it, and I was like, wait a minute, the topics sound like they're old. And then I saw it was the wrong one. It wasn't the most recent one. So anyway, we'll just look at a quick clip from that because the background is awesome. They're like in front of these ruins in Saudi Arabia. That's super cool. We'll look at couple of the clips of Tucker's new fascination with Islam and his love of Islamic submission. And then we'll check out a clip from their new discussion. This is when they're talking about what's going on in the UK. And Tucker, for some reason, people focused on Tucker saying that he has more in common with Pakistani cab drivers than with, something like white reporters for The Guardian or something. He said something like that. And people are like, do you know what some of these Pakistani cab drivers in the UK are known for? Huh? Do you know? Have you read the reports on the grooming gangs? Over and over again. Pakistani cab driver, Pakistani cab driver, Pakistani cab driver, Pakistani cab driver. And Tucker's like, that's what I'm with. Anyway.
To be fair, I also do think that Tucker Carlson has more in common with Pakistani cab drivers than with regular men here. So
let's take these first couple super chats and then we'll jump into some clips, everyone. Gonna jump into some based clips.
Let's do it.
Let's do some improvisational comedy now.
No.
Let's see. Okay. We got Tucker. She played with dolls. Any recommendations for resources to learn Quranic Arabic? Fantastic work, as always, keeping the flock equipped to deal with all this nonsense. Yeah, check out, get started with Ayman Ibrahim's resources. You can look them up on, you can look those up on Amazon. Easy to find. Mike Winger for president. What's wrong with people, man?
I agree.
People think they're funny when they're not funny. Look, here you have Mike Roch Winger. Let's unite with Shamoon and Dawa guys to fight Mike Winger and the Wingalings. That is awfully tempting. If God real, why Mike Winger? If God exists, then why Mike Winger? Nice. That's a good question. That's probably the strongest version. I did my doctoral dissertation on the problem of evil, and that's probably the strongest version I've ever seen. AP needs to invite Mike on and not tell David. Yeah, that would go over well.
Hey, that sounds like a good idea.
Ironic Sam Shamoon references Bastard so often because he looks like the yellow from the Sin City movie. I've seen a bunch of clips of that. Yellow guy. Didn't he get some? Didn't he get? I forget. I don't know enough of the plot, but I think they did some weird treatment on him to keep him alive or something. I don't remember.
I watched it like many ages ago, and then I haven't watched it again. Later, I tried it out again, and it was kind of stupid. So,
I usually watch a YouTube clip of a movie, and then I'll watch several, assuming that they put the best clips on YouTube. And then if I want to know what actually happened, I'll go to like the Wikipedia entry on it and get the summary. And so I can end up watching, well, not technically watching, but I can get a movie in like 15 minutes. And so that's way better than spending like 2 hours on it or something.
That's funny.
David is Bruce Wayne. Mike Winger is Batman. Mike Winger, Batman. Oh, boy. Maybe the Penguin or something like that. I don't know. I hope that David and Ridvan can invite Raymond Ibrahim onto the live streams to discuss his new book, The Two Swords of Christ, Opinion on Templars. Don't really have a Raymond Ibrahim, man. Apparently he's got a new book out called The Two Swords of Christ. Yeah, we should check that out. Do you have an opinion on Templars? I don't. I have none.
I have an opinion on the Knights Templars, which I expressed a lot in the past. I don't want to repeat myself.
He doesn't want to repeat himself. Why are you trying to get him to repeat himself and waste all our time? First time live with D Wood and AP. Much love from South Africa. Oh, hi, Mike Winger, and it's 3:09 a.m. Could not miss this. Told myself. Hang on. Yeah, it's not hang on. It's hang on. You got to pronounce it the way fancy British dudes do. Jesus dies for AP's sins. It snows and AP plays hooky from church. That is correct. But there's half an inch of snow. Dizzle, just wondering what made you hate Boston. The people, the layout, how hard it is to get. It's the middle of the day and there's still traffic for no reason. There's no like parking anywhere. Parking is a nightmare. You want to park your car at $75 and so on. So anyway, yeah, it's just a giant big crap hole. And it's like, it would be okay if it was just like, if it was some third world country, you'd be like, oh, wow, it's a good city. But it's like everyone's like super proud of their awesome city. And it's like, what are you guys looking at, man? What are you guys looking at? In Canada, province of Quebec may ban all public prayers. What is your opinion on this? Obviously, this proposed law is to counteract Islamic prayers. Well, that's the impact Islam is going to have on places. You have good ideas, and then Islam will abuse them, will abuse the situation until you have to make a law which is designed to stop one group from doing something, but you have to apply it evenly or you're just targeting Islam. So yeah, just get used to that. Freedoms are going to have to start being rolled back specifically to stop things with Islam.
We just need to stop equality, man. That's all.
Mike Winger won't go on D Wood or AP's streams because we'd all realize that he sounds like a squeaker Xbox kid without his deep voice auto-tune. That is true.
Hey, stop talking trash about Mike Winger, man.
I'm not. We're just. I mean, he uses that auto-tune stuff to, hey, I'm Mike Winger, blah 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 blah. And in real life, hey everyone, I'm Mike Winger. And then so anyway, people do amazing stuff with auto-tune.
Mike Winger is probably the best voice on YouTube. So Have some respect.
It's annoying. It's annoying that some conversations are saying we're fear mongering about Islam and don't believe what's actually going on. Willful ignorance. Yeah, you just wonder how long people can keep it up. Let's see, conservatives. Pope Leo visited Blue Mosque in Turkey. Thoughts? Oh, really? That's like a 4-minute walk. It's like a 4-minute walk from Hagia Sophia. So why did he go to the Blue Mosque?
Yeah, I don't know what he did. I have no idea what he did. The only headline that I saw was that he went to the Blue Mosque and didn't pray, although it was arranged or something like that. Which I thought was kind of based, but I don't really know anything about the trip. I haven't been able to really follow any of that. I've been too busy doing other stuff, so don't know much. Need to look at all that.
Well, what would be awesome if he went to the Blue Mosque and he said, "Wow, what a great mosque! What a great mosque!" But we should all be really thankful that we have an even better mosque right next to it, Hagia Sophia, which was converted back to a mosque. And on behalf of Christians everywhere, I just want to bless you guys for turning this, what was the biggest church in the world, into a mosque. It's great. Let's all hug, and then the hearts of all Muslims would melt, and everyone would get along after that.
Of course.
And last one here. Hear those bells wing-a-ling. That's right. Those wing-wing-wing-a-ling bells. Hey, AP, you got to make a one of your dumb songs for Christmas. One of your dumb songs for Christmas.
Dong?
Wing-wing-wing-a-ling bells. Wing-wing-wing-a-ling bells.
I shall. I'm working on it right now.
All right, ready to go? Ready to
Yes.
get started on some clips? Here we have, does the Pope understand Islam? Yeah, he understands that, as so many popes before him, if you just show Muslims that you respect them and their book and their prophet, their hearts will melt, and then they'll never want to harm you or take over the entire world, ever.
Maureen said, Hagia Sophia is the Blue Mosque. Hagia Sophia is not the Blue Mosque. Those are two separate buildings. Hagia Sophia is right across the Blue Mosque, or the Blue Mosque is right across the Hagia Sophia. It was actually built to rival the Hagia Sophia, but is far inferior to it.
Yep. And so that's kind of the point. It's like when they said, because they turned the Hagia Sophia into a museum when Turkey was trying to secularize in the 20th century. And then you had Erdogan, who wants to Islamize. And so he was like, look at this, I will turn this back into a mosque to show the Christians that we're very strong. And, the point is, for people who think, well, they need a mosque. They've got one of the biggest mosques in the world right beside it. Yes. So they did not need the mosque. That was a show of strength. That was in your face, Christians. You can't stop us.
They are in no need to turn the Hagia Sophia into a mosque. There is absolutely no need for that at all. No need for space or anything like that. It's a purely symbolic. It's a pure act of simply, superiority. And I know exactly how Turkish people, how religious Turkish people feel about it, how they think about it. And the entirety of turning it into a mosque was simply all about, it belongs to us, we conquered it, it is a Muslim place now, how dare you close it. So this is how they think. They don't have any respect for the feelings of other religions. They just do it. And in all honesty, very frankly, that's how the West should do it too. So.
And then when it happened, you had all these Dawa guys thumping their chests on Twitter. You see. And then right after that, when India turned what used to be one of their the Babri Mosque, when they turned, they had a bunch of people just showed up and tore that place down. This was decades ago, but finally they decided, nope. We'll give them a new mosque somewhere else, but this was a Hindu holy site before they built their mosque over top of it. So you know what? We're giving it back to the Hindus. They can build a giant temple there, and the Muslims can build their stuff somewhere else. And then everyone, oh my goodness, the Islamophobia! How could they? It's so wrong and immoral to take another person's place of worship. I mean, we did it with the Kaaba, and we did it with Hagia Sophia, and we did it with the Temple Mount. We do it with everybody, and we love it. It's our favorite thing in the world. But when someone does it to us, we're babies. You hypocrites, man! You hypocrites!
Absolute hypocrites. Hypocrites.
I have proof that David is a cult leader. He has barely defended himself against that Royce chick, but Jai has been all over X defending him. You see? Yes. See, if you're a cult leader, you don't have to do things.
This shows that it's a cult, right?
Other
This is
people
the
will.
proof.
Other people will.
This is the proof.
Pope Leo met Patriarch Bartholomew. Good sign?
Good sign. They
What
are
do you think?
constantly there is this constant attempt and this constant struggle toward building and building the bridge, closing the gap, not in the Zoot sense, and to had to clarify that. Sorry, and to have unity between between the East and the West of the Christian world, and to somehow the hope, as Patriarch Bartholomew also expressed, is to end the schism between the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church, and to restore unity, to have a historic moment and to restore unity. In fact, Patriarch Bartholomew said that that the end of the schism is inevitable, that it's going to come, definitely. There are lots of mixed feelings about that, especially on the Orthodox and traditionalist Orthodox side, but I genuinely hope that in some future they actually do it, and all the Orthodox and Catholics are united.
And that's when you guys will unite. You'll thump your chest and think you're strong as Protestants, and then you'll find out the sad reality. Go ahead, make a move. Come at us, bro.
Powerful. And then it's going to be time to wage war on the Protestants and force them once again to be subjected to the Apostolic Church.
Good luck with that, because every powerful nation on the planet is 100% Protestant.
Based.
What should I do when a Christian actually is guilty of misrepresenting the Bible in parts? Well, you would show him that he's misrepresenting it. And if he refuses to accept correction, then you humiliate him in front of everybody. It's that simple. Currently reading Against Heresies by St. Irenaeus, and I genuinely think the Gnostics back then had a better argument than modern-day Muslims.
That's funny.
They did. Text for your Al-Zut t-shirts. Diddy has nothing on me. You'd have to make it Diddy ain't got nothing on me. And you have a cartoon of Muhammad with the Al-Zut behind him. Rod and Roll, very rude. Brokeback Desert, yeah, it's always popular. And Mounted and Survived. How about the Al-Zut rode me all night long and all I got was this stupid t-shirt and the strength of 30 men. Something like that might be good. Let's see. Silver bells, wing-a-ling, hear him wing in the desert. Reclaim the Hagia and Tabuli.
The what?
AP is still under his vow to retake Constantinople, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm supposed to do that, but the thing is, everything has been delayed, and I still haven't gotten baptized, so, yeah.
We have here, so should they just flatten the dome of the rock? No, you don't have to be. You don't have to be mean about it. You just take it down brick by brick, give it to them, and tell them they can go build it somewhere else.
I don't know. I think you could just
we're
tear it down.
Building bridges, man. We're building bridges. Take it down carefully.
Bridge,
mark everything so they know where it goes, especially all those panels that look like demons that are all over the side. I don't want to damage those. You want people to know, hey, this is like some weird demonic stuff. And yeah, just here. We'll take it all down piece by piece. We'll mark everything where it goes, and you guys can build that thing somewhere else.
But building a bridge with the stones or with the material of the Dome of the Rock is actually a good idea. Yeah.
13 years ago, D-Wood helped save me from joining Islam.
Nice. Beast.
Yep. Hey, anyone who wants to be helped from joining Islam, check out my video tomorrow. It's the big one, guys. And I challenge all of you here. I will post a challenge. At some point in the next couple of days, challenging everybody. I challenge everyone on the planet and in history to show me a more brutal takedown of Islam than what's going to be posted tomorrow. Show me one anywhere, not by me, by anyone. Show me something I've made that is more of a brutal takedown than this.
Hey, that's a good idea, man.
Well,
Take the Dome of the Rock, disassemble it, and then carry it all over to the new Jerusalem to the new Al Quds, which is in London, and build it there.
um, what would be cool is to take it down brick by brick and like bring it to the United States and like have it for ransom. You know what I mean? Like if you guys aren't launching any terrorist attacks and not messing with anyone, then you can come visit your little dome here. And if you're getting out of line, you're mouthing off and you're doing stuff to little girls and stuff like that in the UK and the cabs and stuff. Nope, nope. Instead, we're just gonna pee on it.
But I do think that in about 6 7 years, they will make a step towards the whole, resolving the Dome of the Rock issue.
What's interesting is well, you've been up there now. You've finally been
Yes,
up there. You've seen how ginormous that is. So even if you
yes.
had just people who want everyone to get along, you could have a temple up there, a dome, a mosque, a church. You could there's that is a huge amount of space up there. But yeah, the Dome of the Rock needs to go, as does the Al Aqsa Mosque.
I'm telling you, in 6 7 years, they're gonna resolve it.
There is a whatever stream live now. Which stream is better? Where will I learn more? Wait, whatever. Is that where they have like a dude talking to a bunch of OnlyFans models or something, or is that something else?
Yes, yes. All, of course, in the name of good tradition and all that.
Yes, we must go on there, or we can start our own version. We'll start our own version where we just hang out with like 20 strippers, and they're all twerking, and then we're talking about theology, and it's like, oh, see how smart we are now. People tune in for our awesome idea. Not a regular. Like Tucker, I'm terrified of Muslim conquest, but don't think that BB should bomb children and believers. What am I missing? Well, you're missing the fact that Tucker seems to really like Islam now. What have you been watching? Tucker's been praising Islam. He's been submission. That sounds really good. Well, oh no, Dubai. Oh no, Sharia. People are worried about Sharia. Come on. Jews are just using your concerns about Sharia to keep you under control while they take over the world. But Muslims, no, 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 no. They're just being misrepresented by the Jews. That's Tucker's
Yeah,
position. What are you
yeah.
missing? What aren't you missing, dude?
I mean, you're not really following your hero. So Tucker Carlson is he is all for the Qatar talking points. He will praise the Muslims right now or make all kinds of excuses for them, while bashing the Jews whenever he can. It's just so funny, Let the Muslims take over. Let the Muslims settle. Let them all settle in the Western world. Let them all take over. Let's just not talk about that. Let's talk about the Jews. Let's talk about Israel. Plus, Israel is not bombing children. Okay, Israel is not bombing children and killing civilians or anything like that. At least not on purpose. Things happen in war. That's not what's happening. So you need to get your talking
But this
points
Tucker fan says
right.
that Israel's like, oh, look at all the kids. Let's bomb them. Let's bomb some kids. and not and not and not uh and not Hamas jihadis like to hide around children so that you kill them because they want to maximize, as they have stated, that they want to maximize civilian casualties just to make Israel, just to use that as just to score talking points against Israel.
And he even snuck in believers here, like believers. By believers, I assume you mean Christians. Do you know how many Christians died in the entirety of the war that started after October 7? In over
Wasn't it
two
something like
years.
40 some or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. Like the number of Christians that died during this war is like 40 or something like that. Um, I think of which 2 dozen or so were died in one accident, in one accidental operation. So there are almost no Christians there. There are less than 8,000 Christians there. There were several decades ago. There were still like 4,000, 5,000 Christians there. There are now less than 1,000 Christians there, because that population, while it is booming and tripling, does not care for Christians. So when you sneak in Christians into this whole accusation and say, "Oh, Israel is killing Christians," you are simply repeating Islamist talking points adopted by the anti-Israel neo-Nazi dummies, because such a thing is not happening. If there is any state in the Middle East that actually takes care of Christians and treats them well, that is Israel. And that is not propaganda. That's a fact. That is a complete fact.
And AP, your shekels are in the mail.
Oh, thank you, man.
Your shekels are in the mail. That's just 50 of the 7,000 you get for that one. Although I'm gonna suggest you get a bonus for that. Can you remake the AC/DC song "You Shook Me All Night Long" into something more Night of Al Zut appropriate? Yeah, you can go in two directions with that. You could say "You zooted me all night long." That doesn't have a nice ring to it. You zoot me all night long. You'd have to make it present. You zoot me all night long. You could do that, or you could say "You rode me all night long," because that's what the source says. It says they rode him all night long.
I don't even know how that song goes because I don't listen to AC/DC.
She was a fast machine. She kept her motor clean. No, it was actually interesting. So you had Bon Scott, who was like the greatest frontman of all time, in the Australian band AC/DC. And then Bon Scott, interestingly enough, knew what a dangerous life he lived. And he told them, hey, if I ever die, here's the guy who can replace me, right? Here's the guy who can replace me. So he actually appointed his successor before he ever died. And he died of alcohol poisoning. He drank way too much and then died. And then so they go to the UK to find his replacement who could sing almost exactly like him. But he had failed as a musician and was giving up and was working on a car lot. And they're like, hey, you want to try out for us? And the only reason he tried out was because he had to record a commercial in a studio that was across the street from the studio where they were gonna give him a tryout and stuff like that. So anyway, he decided, well, I might as well. I'm going to be across the street. But all he was into was cars. And so when they told him to write some lyrics, it was, she was a fast machine. She kept her motor clean and stuff like that. He was describing a woman as a car. But anyway, pulled it off. And
that's disgusting.
This has been this day in rock and roll history, ladies and gentlemen. Tabbouleh is most definitely our dish. The other group doesn't have the IQ to create such a dish.
That's true.
Isn't that like almost like rabbit food? Tabbouleh, am I thinking of the right thing? It's like gross, right? It's like super vinegary or something, like nasty.
Oh,
am I thinking of the wrong thing?
It's some disgusting looking salad. It looks like somebody vomited.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's gross. Anyway, you people were too hard on Junior during his debates. Couldn't you hear his compassion when he called his cousin mid-debate? He's like, hey, cousin. Oh, hey, what's up? What's up, cousin? Have I ever hit you? No. See, Muslims don't hit their wives.
Oh.
Don't hit their cousins.
This proves that no Muslim has ever hit his wife.
Kia ora, David and AP almost missed the Zut jokes. No one misses the Zut jokes. Fall of Nations document says Islam is gone in 2035. Impossible. Islam is very strong. Is Tucker blind to Dearborn? I think so. Yeah, Tucker lately only seems to see all the positive, wonderful, amazing things about Islam, and that's why it's actually better. AP, would you rather David discuss his dark detainment details again or do a 4-hour podcast about the Knights Templar with Candace Owens and her husband inside the Dome of the Rock? Oh, guys, I do a 50-hour podcast with Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson if it was inside the Dome of the Rock. Anything would be worth it just to be inside there and start talking about Islam from inside the Dome of the Rock. Be even cooler inside the Kaaba, but I would be quite happy with inside the Dome of the Rock.
Definitely the latter. I mean, why would I choose the first one?
Mm-hmm.
If you want this to be a challenge, you should present something like or go on a date with Candace Owens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be an awesome date. The way she talks, it's just like, oh, I just want to spend all day with this chick and hear her. Okay. I'm only saying that's when they show with the space laser. Okay. It's like weird.
I don't know, but I know.
Zip me, sweet. Why mommy? You can't say that. All right, we ready to check some clips out, man? Yeah. Sitting there running your mouth all day. We got stuff to talk about, man. Anyway, let's go back. We watched a couple clips a while back when Tucker started warming up, warming up. Now we've seen clips where if you look up until this year, maybe the end of last year, Tucker has always been very critical and seemed to be knowledgeable, like on statistics about jihad and how many people, what percentages of people want to kill apostates, and about the negative impact on women. He seemed to understand that. He was always talking about that whenever Islam came up for years. And then suddenly he gets down to this year, or again, maybe at the end of last year, when all of a sudden Sharia is really good, everything's being misrepresented, Jews are behind it, and so on. Really interesting stuff. But a couple months ago, we'll go ahead and watch a little bit from a couple months ago where this is when people started circulating clips going, why is Tucker in love with Islam now? Let's check this out.
The Taliban, we hear so much about the Taliban's oppression of women and making music illegal, and they do those things. The Taliban is an arch-conservative movement whose ethics and morality I absolutely do not share. However,
I never understood why I was supposed to give a shit about that. I mean, I want everyone to be free just as a matter of principle, but that didn't. But moving, metric tons of heroin into my country, that seems like a real story. Whether people can, girls can get PhDs in feminist studies or whatever is of less concern to me, right?
Yeah. I made a little video about that because I thought that was seriously messed up. When you're talking about what's going on with women in Afghanistan, they are not even allowed to speak outside their houses. They cannot speak outside their houses because the mere sound of a woman's voice might entice a man.
Absolute scumbag.
They have to be fully covered. Girls are being sold to rich old guys, girls 7, 8, 9 years old. And now you can't go to school after the age of 12 because they don't, you learn some basic things and so on, but they don't want they don't want a girl actually being educated. They want her married off by 12. No school after 12. And so how does Tucker describe this? As, they can't get their PhDs in feminist studies. Why should I care about that? No one. I know, I understand it's an exaggeration and stuff, but an exaggeration of what? Seriously messed up, sick, evil stuff going on with old guys banging little girls and little girls not being allowed to get anything remotely resembling a real education, can't have careers anymore. You say this all the time if you're paying attention. Now women aren't allowed to do this. Now women aren't allowed to work here and stuff like that. And how does Tucker, why should I care about this? It's just they're mad because they can't get their PhDs in feminist studies. That's a sick way of describing it. But I mean, think about that. We should be concerned about the heroin, the drugs. We should be concerned about that. But all this other stuff, and you're the one with a problem if you're actually concerned about the treatment of women in the Muslim world. You're the bad guy, and you're being manipulated by the Jews.
Imagine, so it's basically, somewhere on the other side of the world, a bunch of terrorists, a bunch of goons, take people hostage, keep them in chains and in prisons, and then this guy comes along and says, why would I care if they just, if a bunch of people just can't go outside and say very obscene and outrageous things, if they can't just go outside and walk around naked and he just exaggerates it to such a horrible level when the issue is so real. He talks about feminist studies. Girls can't go to school, man. Girls cannot go to school at all. They're being treated like possessions, like objects. They're being beaten. They're being covered up. They're being silenced. And he's like, just because they can't get a degree in feminist studies. What a scumbag, man.
Yeah, Malala, who got shot in the face years ago, got shot in the face because she was advocating for girls to get educations. Shot her in the face. They've done mass attacks outside schools in Afghanistan to keep girls from being educated. And now that the Taliban is fully in charge, now we can enforce this, and girls can't get an education anymore. And here's the thing: if Tucker wanted to say something like, "Hey, that really sucks. but it's not our country and we don't control the world. So they're just going to have to deal with that on their own and hopefully improve it. That's one thing, but to just act like what's really going on is people are screaming because they can't get PhDs in feminist studies. And that's something in the ballpark of the real issue. That's just disgusting, man. That's disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting.
All right. Back to Tucker.
Right. Well, the Afghan people didn't like it either, all the drug and trafficking that was going on in their country. And what made the Taliban popular originally was their suppression of the drug industry in Afghanistan. They took over and eliminated all of the drug production that was taking place there because you can see how it's ideologically consistent with their Sharia law. Mm-hmm. They don't tolerate drugs. They don't tolerate alcohol either. So they get rid of all of it.
Sharia law is bad, Seth. I don't know if you've heard that. It's bad. It's worse than what's happening in New York and Detroit.
Now he's mocking people who are concerned, now he's mocking people who think Sharia is bad. If you think Sharia is bad, killing apostates, beating your wives into submission, these kinds of things, executing people for all kinds of things. If you're concerned about that, you're the one with the problem. Let me back this up just so we can see Tucker shaming and mocking people for being concerned about Sharia here.
Rid of all of
Sharia law is bad, Seth. I don't know if you've heard that. It's bad. It's worse than what's happening in New York and Detroit. It's just bad. I don't know why. It's just like years of brainwashing.
Years of brainwashing has convinced people that Sharia is bad. You've all been brainwashed if you oppose the death penalty for me and AP. We're both, keep in mind, we're both under a death sentence under Sharia, both of us. Him, multiple death sentences because he's an apostate and a critic of Islam. Me, I'm just a critic of Islam, but we're both under death sentences. Me and all my friends are under death sentences. And he's saying you've been brainwashed if you have a problem with it. AP, you've been brainwashed into thinking it's bad for you to get your head chopped off, you stupid idiot. I've been brainwashed into thinking it would be bad for me and all my friends to be executed. We've been brainwashed, guys. That's Tucker. This is Tucker.
I would be completely fine with sending Tucker Carlson to Afghanistan to have some experiments on speaking his mind in Afghanistan and exercising his free speech and saying whatever he thinks.
It would be just, I guarantee it would be just like his Russia video. Oh my goodness, look at this. Oh my goodness, look, they've got rice. Oh,
no,
not like that. Rice is good.
Not like that. Not like that. Beforehand, you have to make some conditions. You will go to Afghanistan and you will say these things that you have said here and there on other occasions, including you will to test the freedoms and the beauty of Sharia law. Since you claim to be a free speech advocate, you have to also test the limits of free speech in Afghanistan. And for example, I don't know, talk about how you personally think Islam is garbage and things like that. You have to do these things and then come back, report to us like that. I would be very happy to send Tucker Carlson there and to have such a little experiment there. Look at this. What he's just saying here, what he's implying with his stupid little attitude is that that what's happening in New York is apparently probably worse than Sharia law. Seriously, man? What's happening in New York? I mean, what's happening in New York, whatever he's talking about, is probably bad, but it is in no way worse than Sharia. If you think it is, please go piss off to some Sharia country and live there. Honestly.
So, Tucker, lover of Sharia. If you have a problem with Sharia, then you've been brainwashed, people.
Muslim, I'm not for Sharia law. On the other hand, compared to what? Compared to Baltimore? Shut up.
Yeah.
Sharia law.
Yeah. Well, in
sorry, Sharia law.
In Afghanistan.
Would you rather live in Baltimore or Afghanistan?
Baltimore.
And the effect of implementing Sharia law was the total suppression of the heroin industry and the decimation of the world's supply of heroin.
And a massive reduction in the rape of boys. They didn't like that.
That's another subject that's absolutely part of this. And
Gosh, the Taliban just sound like the greatest guys in the world, man. They're anti-drug. They're stopping the Bakabazi stuff. Wow, these guys are great, man. What's everyone complaining about? We've all been brainwashed. The Taliban are the good guys. Are you how? Seriously, how is anyone who's actually concerned about Islam taking this guy seriously? He's becoming like a fanboy for the freaking Taliban. They're the good guys. It's insane, man.
Well, I don't know who this other guy is and what his deal is, but the suppression of drug trafficking is not what made the Taliban popular. He's so exaggerating the role that plays a role. But the thing is, the Taliban itself also was involved in a lot of trafficking and corruption and things like that. But that is not why the Taliban became popular. That's just, I don't know why he's focusing on that. It is primarily other things, including the promise to fight for Islam and make Islam and the Afghans dominant in this land, and fight against the others, fight against foreign influence and things like that, and suppress the secularists and suppress democracy and things like that. That's what made them popular. The drug trafficking is not a big deal.
People were mad when the Taliban was burning poppy fields because that was their biggest source of income. You could make way more money growing heroin. What are you doing with it? You're sending it to other people in the world, and money is flooding into Afghanistan. Piles of money are flooding into Afghanistan because you're putting this stuff out. People were really ticked off at the Taliban for stopping that. But anyway, it's like, how do you pick that out and then say these are good guys, and you've been brainwashed into thinking they're bad? Like, I mean, the nation it's crumbling. It's crumbling because of these guys. Anyway, it is like the hellhole of the planet.
So there are some projects in the waiting, and I hope that in over the next year, we are going to start tackling firmly the influence that Qatar and other countries have on the West. But this here is a result of Qatar and others influencing popular commentators and speakers, paying them. Just recently, Qatar actually invited a bunch of influencers over and paid them tons of money to represent Qatar in a good way. We should actually talk about that sometime.
Hey, isn't it weird? Dude, every single thing all these guys accuse Israel of doing is exactly what Qatar is doing.
I know,
but they're fine with that. Isn't that weird?
The funny thing is that Israel is actually not doing these things that Qatar is actually doing, paying these people tons of money to come over there and to make videos and post about, oh, this country is so amazing, so beautiful, wow.
And they're the ones who gave Tucker his startup money for his show here.
Israel is not even doing that kind of stuff. Israel couldn't be bothered to do that kind of stuff. And honestly, Israel probably should be doing that kind of stuff, but they don't want to spend that much money.
I'm sure they're doing it to some extent, just not nearly as much as Qatar. And everyone blasts Israel for being the one. And you look at every single thing that you can check as far as donating money to universities and stuff like this, buying things. It's like Qatar, 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 Qatar.
Yeah.
And everyone who's condemning Israel for doing it, like, okay, however much you think Israel's doing it, Qatar's like definitely doing it way, way more. So why is that not a problem at all in your minds? Why? Because they're all getting paid $7,000 every time they defend Qatar.
One of the what's happening actually right now, this is coming out. One of the influencers, some guy that I don't really, am not a big fan of, Xavier Durousseau or whatever his name is.
You made that name up.
He just exposed that he was among many other people who were invited to Qatar, but he was disinvited after he confronted them about some influence in America and all that they have. Together with him, they paid many other influencers to go over there and to propagate pro-Qatar and pro-Islam, pro-Muslim Brotherhood ideas, including inviting people who are pro-Israel and saying you can be pro-Israel but also pro-Qatar and things like that. Laura Loomer is exposing that right now as we speak. Many people have apparently been invited, which is why there are now multiple accounts among the conservatives on Twitter who are making pro-Qatar posts. So they are spending a lot of money on spreading pro-Islam and pro-Qatar and pro-Muslim Brotherhood propaganda. And Tucker Carlson is, of course, part of all that propaganda.
Smart.
The world's supply of heroin.
And a massive reduction in the rape of boys. They didn't like that.
That's another subject that's absolutely part of this, and I almost hesitate to go there because it is a parallel. Everything I'm saying about drugs could also be talked about. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but child sex trafficking was something that took place. That was something that the U.S.-backed client state was deeply implicated in child sex trafficking. Another thing that's falsely laid at the feet of the Taliban and said, this is just part of Afghan culture, when that is not true.
All right, guys, you heard it here. Taliban are the good guys. You heard it here. You heard it from Tucker. Taliban are really, really good guys. You've all been brainwashed into thinking Taliban bad. Taliban good. Taliban good. Anything Sharia, good. It's all good. What the heck is wrong with you people? Just look at another one real quick.
You know, again, I'm not here to be a drug warrior or paternalistic or to lecture people who struggle with substance abuse, but I certainly agree with you that should be a value.
But you should know, Seth, that the real danger is Sharia law.
You see how he keeps doing it?
Scumbag.
Keeps mocking people who are concerned about Sharia, mocking people who are concerned about the Taliban, mocking people who are concerned about Islam's impact on women. You've all been brainwashed by Jews.
Sharia law, and you can tell.
What'd you say?
I dare him to invite somebody on who actually speaks on this topic and who is actually on point and knowledgeable, and who can tell him exactly what's wrong with Sharia and with Islamic countries and with the Taliban and all that. He's not going to do it.
When you go to a place like Abu Dhabi or
dude, seriously, everyone should start up like a campaign to get someone like Raymond Ibrahim or Robert Spencer or something on there with him who can take him through these things. But gosh, can you imagine Raymond Ibrahim sitting down with Tucker and just completely annihilating him on everything he says? But
that's a very good idea.
Get a bunch of yes men.
People should campaign for it.
Yeah, he's got a new book coming out.
Yeah, Raymond Ibrahim.
Matter of AP. Let's start that. Let's later on we'll send out a couple tweets telling people that Tucker needs to get Raymond Ibrahim on there, and people can share it, and he can show that he's not a coward.
In fact, here's what I'm going to do. I urge everyone to use any means possible to make public posts and also send messages and emails urging Tucker Carlson to invite Raymond Ibrahim to speak to him the truth about Sharia and about Islam. And I will also do my part to contact some people that we have in common with Tucker Carlson and to reach and to suggest to him that he should have a Raymond Ibrahim on. I will push from this side. I urge others to push from their side.
Not in the Zut sense, guys.
Not in the Zut sense. If 30 of us push him, it will probably happen. So, so yes, I urge everyone to use any means they can to push him to do that. And I will also use my means to push him to do that. Let's do it. Let's do it. Raymond Ibrahim on Tucker Carlson to talk about Islam and Sharia. Let's do it.
God, like, oh man, I hope we don't ever wind up in a society like this with Sharia law. And you can tell when you go to a place like Abu Dhabi or Riyadh, like, oh man, I hope we don't ever wind up in a society like this with a rape rate of 0, where you leave your keys in your Lamborghini and don't ever worry about it being stolen. And, you know, if people want to get wasted, they do it at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
hope we don't wind up with that.
Pause. What a stupidly idiotic example. The UAE. First off, the UAE is an authoritarian government where people like me, for example, wouldn't be allowed to even land. Okay, if I went to the UAE, I would land in prison because of my opinions, because of speech.
Now I'm starting to like them more
because I left Islam, for example. So this guy, this just shows how people like Tucker Carlson have become completely devoid of any value or any morals or anything at all. You know, for years he has been talking about free speech, about freedom. He just talked about freedom on free speech in the UK and things like that. He's advocating for a country in which there literally is no such thing as free speech, where you go to prison for having an opinion, where you go to prison for changing your beliefs and speaking about it. He's talking about the UAE, that in the past was a complete crap hole because they were an Islamic region, an Islamic country that only started to become a very, very good place to go on vacation and to live because they became oil rich and started departing, moving away from their Islamic ideals, moving away from their Islamic foundations. In fact, around the Muslim world, people view the UAE as a country that has become completely un-Islamic and that has basically betrayed the Muslim world and is basically another Western country at this point. He's praising this one Muslim country that that builds everything that they have with the use of Western architects, with Western people, with Western coming in and working there, with foreign workers from India and from other places, because the Muslims can't do anything on their own. So he's praising and talking as an example for Islam and for Sharia about that one place that has completely left their Islamic side behind and has completely turned toward the West because they realize that this is how they get rich and wealthy and good. This is what he gives as an example. So he could basically give he's basically giving us an example of a country, of the one Islamic country that is fully focused on becoming as Western as possible. This is funny, man.
And him bragging, oh, they got a grape rate of zeros. What? Yeah. Anyone want to? Who here doesn't know why they have low rates of that? Have you seen the stories over the years? Because if a woman walks into a police station and says, hey, this guy just graped me, unless the guy comes in and says, yeah, I did it. Unless the guy says, yeah, I did it, it's consensual sex, which she just confessed to. She just confessed to having sex. She can't prove that it was not consensual because the most proof she'll have is that they did have sex. And so she can't prove that it was non-consensual. And then she goes to jail. She goes to jail. And they know that. So they don't even go. When someone goes and reports something like that, it's a woman who was visiting from another country who came to one of these places, gets raped, goes to police because she doesn't know that it's not going to work and that she's going to be arrested for it. And that's what you see over and over and over again. They say, well, look at the very low rates of rape. Yeah. Great way of doing that. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that here. We can do that here, by the way. Anytime someone shows up to report a crime, we just lock them up. We can do that. And then people wouldn't report crimes. Then there'd be no crime rate.
Yep.
That'd be awesome. Getting some awesome ideas from Tucker here.
Discourage victims from reporting the rape, and wow.
So we do it.
Solved.
Mm. Yeah, I think that, Sharia law is obviously just a punchline. I don't know that too many people actually believe in the reality of that. And
too many people don't. There aren't a lot of people who actually. This is Tucker Carlson. Sharia. Only idiots think Sharia is a problem. This guy. Yeah, I don't know. Not a lot of people who actually are seriously concerned about Sharia.
No. What he's saying here is that he doesn't actually. He doesn't think that a lot of people among Muslims or something, as it seems, actually believe in it or believe in Sharia. That's what he seems to be saying here, which is complete nonsense because most Muslims do want Sharia in the world.
Especially they were talking about Afghanistan, where it's 99%. 99% want Sharia. It's just which school of jurisprudence version of Sharia is the one that we want.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. I backed it up a little so we can get this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope we don't wind up with that.
Mm-hmm.
We know what you mean, Tucker.
Yeah, I think Sharia law is obviously just a punchline. I don't know that too many people actually believe in the reality of that. And like I said, I'm a lawyer. I actually studied legal philosophy. Right. Sharia is not that different from other legal codes. A lot of our own legal code, the Anglo-Saxon common law, Anglo-American common law, derives ultimately from religious authorities.
Hope so.
There's a lot of universal
Exactly.
There's a lot of universal values in
Hammurabi's code is recognized.
There's a lot of universal.
You know what this reminds me of? Idiocracy.
Yep.
This is, you have a bunch of complete idiots who don't know anything, who don't know what they're talking about, come and attempt to talk about a topic that they do not understand. One of them deliberately, he likes to misrepresent it because that's what his agenda is. The other sits down and he thinks because he has an education in a legal system, he can now tell you about every single legal system out there in the world. He can now tell you about the ins and outs of Sharia.
I went to law school. Therefore, I know about Sharia because obviously there's lots of classes on Sharia in law school, guys. So you walk up to any lawyer and he's going to be an expert on Sharia and a good talk show guest to tell everyone that Sharia is just like anything else, man. It's just like anything. So why would you have any sort of problem with it, man? Why would you have a problem with it? But guys, I mean, think about this. Tucker and this guy. What's the takeaway here? Here's the thing. Tucker will say 1,000 things that you agree with and make perfect sense. And then at the same time, it'll be Sharia's not bad. Taliban, you've been brainwashed into not liking the Taliban. Oh, your people are screaming about the impact on women. Oh, why should we care about that, man? Oh, they can't get their PhD in feminist studies. That's what's going on, guys. I told you this guy is more dangerous because the fact that he put it this way. Someone came up to you and they said everything that you disagree with. They said nothing that you agree with. You're not going to fall for anything this person says. You got to be more concerned about the people who are, you're right about this, and you're right about that, and you're right about this, and I'm going to defend you on this, and I'm going to support you on this, and I'm going to support you on this. Oh, by the way, Sharia good, Taliban good. Don't screw women, screw Muslim women and little girls and what's happening to them under this barbaric regime. It's all good. We should want more of this. We should want to be more like this. That's some sick, evil stuff, guys.
I know lawyers, I know good lawyers who would ask me about Islam and about Sharia because that's not what they learn. I mean, just because you have a background in that doesn't mean you are now an expert in every single matter that that has something to do with law.
No, that's why that was so stupid. I could have actually respected the dude if he's like, look, I mean, I don't know anything about Sharia law, so I don't want to comment on this, but let's talk about stuff I actually know about. Instead it was, well, I went to law school, and as someone who went to law school, I'm an expert on all kinds of law, even 7th century Islamic law, because that's a big issue in law school. And so I know all about it. And Sharia's good, man. Sharia's good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff, just like everything else. This is dangerous stuff, guys. This is very, very, very dangerous times to be propping up Sharia and the Taliban and all this stuff as good and everything else is bad. Very, very sick, dangerous ideas.
This is making me angry, man.
Don't get
I wouldn't want to live under it. It's kind of punitive, but it's not like from another planet.
Wait.
He just said he wouldn't want to live under it.
What? So just now he was making,
and then he said it's kind of punitive.
So just now he was making fun of the idea that it's worse than what's happening in New York. But now he's like, well, of course I wouldn't want to live under it. Interesting.
I mean, he literally just praised it, and wow, it's so great. And there's no crime, and you can leave your keys in your Lamborghini and all this. It's great. Why would you not want to live there if you think it's that great? Well, because they're kind of punitive. Well, what are you planning on doing?
I mean, I wouldn't personally want to live under it. I'm going to let all those other stupid people live under it and die.
The Joker origin story, ladies and gentlemen. Tucker Carlson. Let's finish this.
Legal code that we have, Hammurabi's code, it's not like you sort of know what he's talking about, right?
Look, I agree, yeah. And look, they put up 10 commandments in front of I live in Austin, Texas, and they put up the 10 commandments in front of the state capitol. And that's controversial among, religious libertarians. But I'm of the view that I'm happy to see them put the 10 commandments up there if they would just follow them,
I agree.
Starting with thou shalt not kill.
I couldn't agree more.
Oh, really? You want to see Islam's version of that? Guys, I mean, just think about the insanity. Tucker claims to be a Christian. I don't know who this guy is. Guys, you are subjugated second-class citizens. under Islamic law. You can't go out and preach the gospel. You can't ring your church bell under Sharia law. If the roof on your church falls in, you can't repair it under Sharia. He's well, what? Oh, but the United Arab Emirates and blah blah blah. We're talking Sharia, guys, not places that have some elements of Sharia. But other than that, are modernizing and so on, dude. And here's the thing. Lots of people don't know about what they're talking about. You shouldn't be influencing tons of people on seriously dangerous issues while having absolutely no clue what you're talking about. That's dangerous. Everyone needs to warm up to Sharia. One more clip from that.
You know what's funny? If we actually had a system where, as suggested, the 10 Commandments were the law and everybody was supposed to follow them, then we probably wouldn't. We probably shouldn't have or wouldn't have other religions such as Islam allowed by anyone in this country if everyone is supposed to follow the 10 Commandments, because something like Islam would be in contradiction with the 10 Commandments. So, and it would directly go against the first commandment. So, I don't know how much he's on board with that. It sounds kind of Islamophobic, you know.
It's pretty racist. But let's check out this famous submission clip. Tucker likey. He liked the submission. He liked the Islamic submission. Watch this.
You describe it much better than I do. I'm still trying to sort it out in my head. It was less than a year ago I saw this. I was like, I've not stopped thinking about it.
Yeah,
since.
We talked about it last night, and so then I thought about it last night, this morning, so it's fresh in my mind as well, like in terms of what it means and how to think about it. But yeah, it's something that is, I think, it's kind of like sitting there right in plain sight. It's a solution to a lot of things. But for a lot of reasons, you need a lot of vulnerability and humility to strip yourself down that way, to admit your powerlessness. We're constantly taught to affirm our invulnerability, like I'm strong, I'm powerful.
Just like Muhammad in front of the Al-Zut.
Yeah. You have to have the humility to get on all fours and let the Al-Zut melt you all night long.
Yeah.
Most people don't have that kind of humility.
I forgot what this guy's name is. What's this guy's name again?
He's someone I've heard of before. I remember when I looked this up, I've heard of the guy before. But I don't remember who this is. Who is this, guys? Everyone else knows. Watch, 50,000 people will know. And then AP, the great researcher on all this stuff, has no clue.
He's terrible. These are the people that he invites on.
People are saying Tucker Carlson.
Glenn Greenwald.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Okay, there we got it. Yeah.
I can deal with anything, but human beings are by themselves not all that powerful. There's a lot of things we can do. There's a lot of things we can't. And the whole point of these kind of addiction groups or whatever, there's a lot of these different kind of groups. I think all communities are like them, is like together, like human beings connecting to each other creates a much bigger power than every human being sitting kind of isolated and alone.
Yes.
I don't know, but I mean, I don't know other stuff he's saying, but he's kind of right on the money there. Watch Tucker completely derail it here in a little bit. Let's see.
I mean, I believe in a religion that extols humility, that in which humility is like the cover charge. Like you don't get anywhere without humility. That teaches that God like submitted to being tortured to death. So like,
and you get on your knees in a church. You
100%
like in Islam, you like bow on the ground. Like
that's exactly right.
All an expression of that same.
I remember after 9/11.
And yeah, here's what's amazing. Tucker will say, hey, this is the religion I believe in. And he would be subjugated and not allowed to talk about it under Sharia. And then he's going to go right now. He's going to start talking about how great submission is in Islam.
The funny thing is that what he just described there, even the way he just described Christianity and what God did is considered blasphemy under Islam, and you would be prosecuted and persecuted for what you just said.
Sharia law. Come on, AP. Have you learned that we need to mock these claims about Sharia law? But let's see.
That same.
I remember after 9/11 when I was like, all about attacking Islam. I knew nothing about Islam. I'm not Muslim, by the way. I don't work for Qatar.
Contrary to what a lot of people think, despite the paychecks from Qatar.
I don't work for Qatar. They just give me a big pile of money, but it's not like a steady paycheck or anything.
It is
Not a
interesting
secret.
though how he likes to simply insert Islam into these conversations. It's
Isn't it
almost
weird?
as if there is something that encourages him or somebody that encourages him to talk about it, even when it has nothing to do with the topic at hand.
Yeah. Yeah, like AP, start talking about some random topic.
So bananas are very interesting fruits because
Well, you know where you can get really good bananas? How about
Where?
Afghanistan, where the Taliban, I mean, they're all about bananas. I mean, they got this bad reputation.
yeah, David, but I
And-
want to talk about fruits in general, so I don't want to talk about that right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, seriously, you know where you get the best fruits? Under Sharia. If you just had Sharia, you get all the fruit you want. It would just be raining fruit down on all day long under Sharia. Isn't that amazing? Oh gosh, here we go.
I'm not Muslim, by the way.
Oh,
I
you
don't
know?
work for Qatar.
Contrary to what a lot of people think, despite the paychecks from Qatar.
Not a secret shit.
Right.
But I remember
But now I'm going to defend Islam. Watch.
hearing someone on. I worked at CNN at the time, and like we had all these endless experts, most of whom kind of worked for the CIA. But whatever, I realized that later. But I remember who it was come on and be like, Islam is bad, and I was like, sounds bad, whatever. I don't know if I ever met a Muslim, but he's like, you know what Islam means? Submission. And like let it hang in the air like that was.
Well,
Hang on. He's just admitting here right now that he was always a very unreliable conveyor of information. That he was always a very unreliable journalist. That he always just did whatever people told him or whatever people said. He just ran with whatever was at the moment popular. That's what he's saying.
Hey, everyone
So
getting
he's
that?
saying you shouldn't be trusting me because I am a piss poor journalist. That's what he's just saying here right now.
did everyone understand? That's a very important point by AP, right? For more than 2 decades, Tucker was blasting away at Islam, and now we're hearing, well, I didn't really believe it. I thought it was a good idea. What's that mean? You didn't believe what you were saying. So there's 2 possibilities here. He really believed what he was saying when he was condemning Sharia and all this stuff and terrorism and so on. He really believed that stuff, and then he changed his mind for some reason over the last year. Or it was just, hey, it was my job to say that now. I do whatever I'm being paid. I say whatever I'm being paid to say. Whoever wants me to defend your view, just give me a check. I'll say it. That sounds like what he's saying right here. I didn't really believe what I was saying about Islam back then. Didn't believe it. Well, you were saying it then. Why are you saying it? I was getting paid to say it. Okay, so you're a guy who says what he gets paid to say. And now you're saying what? Bunch of stuff defending Qatar and Sharia and so on. Huh, you don't say. Let me back this up a little.
Was come on and be like, Islam is bad. And I was like, sounds bad, whatever. I don't know if I ever met a Muslim, but.
So he's saying, I knew nothing, but people are telling him Islam's bad. So he's like, okay, I'll roll with that then, because that's what I'm getting paid to say.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what Islam means? Submission. And like let it hang in the air like that was self-evidently disgusting. And I was like, I kind of think submission to God is like the whole point of life, but I didn't say anything. I was like, I don't think I'm against that.
Yeah, Tucker. Hate to break this down to you, Tucker. Yes, Islam means submission. It refers to submission to Allah. Islam doesn't just tell you that you must submit to Allah. It tells you how you submit to Allah. And you submit, the only way you can submit to Allah is by unquestioningly, mindlessly obeying everything Muhammad says. That's Surah 4, verse 65 of the Quran. They can have no faith until they make Muhammad judge in all disputes and find no resistance against anything Muhammad has decided. And you must accept all of Muhammad's decisions with full submission. You submit to Allah by submitting to Muhammad. And that includes marrying prepubescent girls, all this stuff. And Tucker, I think that's good. I think it's really a good idea. I mean, submission, what was it? The heck, man.
But David, child marriage is bad. It's just so bad.
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad.
Anyone who submits to God, like, I'm just for that.
Well, and
You're just for anyone who submits to God, even people who submit to Allah by waging terrorist attacks on other people. That's one of the ways you submit to Allah. And he's just for that, guys. He's for it.
I mean, I think a lot of religions seek the same things, just find different ways to
it's all
think
the same,
about
guys.
how to find them. But the whole point of AA and NA, like the foundation of it, is that you submit to a higher power.
And by the way, keep in mind, this whole discussion here, he's talking about the importance. And as a guy from an entire family of alcoholics and drug addicts, many of whom are dead because of it, I agree. It was massively important having a support group and so on. This very important, and it's extremely important for the people to believe in something higher. They'll call it a higher power, but you have to believe in it. There are studies over and over again showing that the people who are most successful are the people who are part of these groups and praying and so on and going to church. They're the most successful at not relapsing. And so that's what this guy's talking about, and Tucker's making it a commercial for Islam.
But
he had
David,
to.
They say Muhammad married a child, but but isn't marriage a good thing? I am all for marriage.
Yes.
It can be, understanding that there's a lot of people who are now atheists or secular. It doesn't necessarily have to be some like religious conception of a God. And so many people go into these groups and they're adamantly contemptuous of this idea. Like, this is so irrational. I'm not going to pretend that there's some magic thing. And, I used to think that way too. And then I got to the point where I was like, no, you know what actually is irrational? Thinking that there's no higher power than you. Like, I am the highest power. Like, that's the absurd thing. But it's all about, losing that sense that you're invulnerable and understanding that, you can find something higher than yourself. And it could just be the connection of the human group, whatever you want it to be, like whatever you recognize as being able to do things that you can't do is already an acknowledgement that there's a higher power than you.
Hey, you know what?
What?
My dad was a bit of a mocker. At the end of the day, he believed in God and stuff, but he used to get DUIs, right? He'd get DUIs because he'd go out and then drive home and crash into somebody. But the requirements for being released after your DUI, after you've done your time in jail, is you had to go to Alcoholics Anonymous and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes to his Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and the guy was explaining how you need your higher power or you won't be able to resist. And so the guy, to give an example, said, I'll tell you what, I've got a pack of X-Lax here. Laxative, right? I got a pack of X-Lax here. You guys go ahead and eat this whole pack of X-Lax, and you try your hardest not to go to the bathroom. You can't do it. And my dad goes, well, you eat the box of X-Lax and pray to your higher power. And let's see you not go to the bathroom. I was like, dude, let the guy make a point, man. Anyway, weird stuff. All right. So, guys, those are some clips we've seen before. We're going to check out a more recent clip with him and Piers Morgan. We'll take these super chats real quick. Islam can't be true because D Wizzle never stops reading super chats. P.S. The true God is triune. That's true.
That's true.
Powerful stuff.
That's true.
Apologetic. Need a remix of Stan Momo writing to the Al-Zut. That would be funny to Muhammad's writing. Because that's funny.
Dear Zut.
I seriously need vocab to move somewhere where he's not almost across the entire country, because then we could be cranking this stuff out left and right.
If the dog is AI, by the way, that's not a real dog.
What is behind this weird push by people like Tucker, Candace, Hakikachu, and Junior to convince Christians to ally with Islam against the Jews? It's such an artificial idea. I doubt anyone believes it. Well, I mean, there are definitely enough people, a disturbing number of people who are going in that direction. But I mean, you could see that. You could see that as soon as people like start, the Jews are behind everything. There's a natural tendency to say, okay, who's really, really against the Jews and hates them? Oh, Muslims? All right, then they're our buddies now.
Yeah. I mean, it's different for Hikikachu and Junior to do that. Actually, I wouldn't put Junior necessarily into the same category as Daniel Hikikachu. Daniel Hikikachu is just outright deceptive and just does exactly what is quite Islamic to do, which is just to make a strategic.
We'll see how well Daniel's doing after my video tomorrow.
Ooh,
not nice. Going well for Daniel, man. Daniel gonna be in a little trouble tomorrow.
Nice. But Tucker and Candace seem to be under this new influence, and it's just a popular thing right now, especially after the war between Israel and Hamas. It's of course a very popular thing to just be anti-Jewish and to also appeal to the Muslims because they have higher numbers in the world. So, they have high numbers in the world. So you get much more engagement if you talk about this kind of stuff. If you make it look like Christians and Muslims can be allies against the Jews. It's just a very popular thing to do,
Oh yeah, seriously. Like, dude, can you imagine how overnight popular we become right now if we were just like, we changed our mind. We changed our mind on all this stuff. The Jews are trying to conquer the world and they're behind everything, and the Muslims are our new allies. All these guys who hate us would suddenly love us in spite of everything we said about their prophet over the years.
I know. If I just made a video now and said, after years of supporting Israel, I have realized that Israel is the enemy. And
Daniel would be praising you from the rooftops. This is the greatest man who's ever lived.
I'm not sure about Daniel, but
I will even offer him my 4-year-old daughter. Isn't heroin grown in Afghanistan? Yeah, that's kind of the point. You do have elements of the Taliban who just burn down the poppy fields and stuff because they don't want any part of it.
But heroin is bad. It's bad. It's just a drug. I mean, aren't drugs good when you're sick?
I take aspirin all the time. What the heck is wrong with this dude, man? Bangs little girls. You know who else does that? Mohammed. Story time. I visited Lebanon as a young man, and my aunties introduced me to my female cousins. Silly me had zero idea what was happening. After a few weeks, they asked me which one I wanted. I went to Brazil. Smart. Get the heck out of there. Smart.
Powerful.
Okay, I'm angry now, but how can we blame the Jews? That's right. You can always blame the Jews. Anything that happens, you just say, but this is a plot of the Jews. AP's lighting is perfect today. Better than blue-purple. Yeah, what's up with the blue? Oh, we have to make it blue in the background like a dork.
What the heck? Why is my blue light off?
Yeah, turn your blue light on, man. Or I don't even know who I'm talking to. Tucker would condemn Sharia if it banned nicotine. He does so much nicotine, I'm sure it contributed to his psychosis. That would be funny if he got his insanity is the result of years of nicotine poisoning or something. Serious question. You guys have a plan if G. Howder's unalive? One of you, D-Wood, AP, IP, God Logic, Hatun, Scorched Earth, Quran Barbecue, Mohamzut, Expo. Yeah, we've got things. It's understood that we're going to dial things up if they take someone out. There are also other plans that shall remain. You won't know them unless something happens. Sharia 101, light beatings, lying, conquering. Yeah, light beatings. You can beat her till her skin turns green. Whoa, oh no, my skin's green. Why am I supposed to care about you not getting a PhD in feminist studies? How long will it be before Tucker Carlson starts selling Dawa arguments against Christianity? Yep, probably right around the corner. If we change Tucker's rate to 50 shekels per post, he'll go back to hating Islam. Yeah, no, it's got to be more than 50 shekels. That's not a lot. For sale to discerning Muslim husband. E4 Mafia will trade LS1 V8 crate motor. Oops, this was a super sticker. Thank you, though. I would believe Tucker care about America, and he is not. And he is not as only when he will start to criticize Islam, talk about Dearborn, and laugh like a nut. I don't follow him until people start sharing clips and stuff like that. But I mean, has he not talked about Dearborn or has he? I haven't seen enough. Hi, U.S. Army vet here. Never went to Afghanistan, but I've heard all the stories from those who have. The Taliban will never not be my enemy. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about some seriously evil stuff. Some, like, horrifyingly bad treatment of women and anyone who disagrees with them. And you've got Tucker Carlson mocking anyone who thinks it's a problem. Someone should explain Bakabazi to Tucker. Well, who doesn't love kids? Everyone loves kids. The Emiratis have completely muzzled Sharia in their legal code. It's restricted to family law. In UAE, if you're in front of a Qadi, it's voluntary. But they still have some problems. 4-to-6 ratio for adultery, 2-to-1 ratio on other matters. I believe Tucker's being paid off by the Saudis. He's definitely, I mean, I've got a clip of him in Saudi Arabia here with Piers. Tucker's favorite Stevie Wonder song, Sharia More. Oh, Mia Moore, yeah. Tucker reminds me of the biblical quote, "What is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?" Yeah, guys, that's sort of my, you can disagree with me on all kinds of things. I don't have a problem. It never crosses my mind that everyone has to agree with me on all kinds of topics. Like, who am I? I know about a couple things, so I'm sure I'm wrong about all kinds of things. It doesn't occur to me that you're disagreeing with me on something, therefore you're the one with the problem. But the stuff that Tucker is getting wrong is like really, really seriously bad stuff here. I don't work for Qatar. Okay, so it's Qatar then. Oh, by the way, everyone, yeah, who doesn't work for Qatar has to constantly say, oh, by the way, I don't work for Qatar. Hey, just so y'all know, I don't work for Qatar. Hey, not me. Nope. No one works for Qatar over here. When you had those, you got that clip of the guys who saying they gave him his startup money to start everything. Religious Jews actually do bow and prostrate themselves on the high holidays, but Greenwald and Carlson are ignorant about Judaism. How could you think these guys are ignorant about anything? Glenn Greenwald was a speaker at CARE. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Glenn Greenwald gets funded by eBay Iranian founder Pierre Omidyar, who has ties to the Iranian Republican. What is that? I forgot what that sounds. Hey, what's IRGC stand for? Iranian Republican Guard Corps? Something
Iranian Revolutionary Guard
Corps,
I think.
Yeah, I always forget. Qatar and Iran in one picture. Tucker Carlson loves to insert Islam into everything.
No. It's actually Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Okay. Tucker Carlson loves to insert Islam into everything. Is he a secret al-Zut?
He is.
He's getting paid by the al-Zut. Listening to those guys, my blood pressure is rising. Oh, Sharia law. This guy's worried about Sharia law. Doesn't understand how right Tucker is about nothing. I don't work for Qatar. I'm not a secret shill. The mouth speaks what the heart is full of. Luke 6:45. It is pretty well known that Glenn Greenwald practices al-Zut, and over the summer he was exposed in a video. This would not have gone over well with Sharia law. Is this serious? That happened? Something like that happened?
There is. He was photos of him were shared where he was in a very indecent state in a gay situation.
The gay no wonder he likes Islam. The gay anti-Zionist Jew gets funded by Pierre Omidyar, the founder of eBay, has contacts. Yeah, someone else just pointed that out. AP, we need more screen time of AP equals apostate puppy. Oh, yeah.
I should. Puppy. Well, because I moved to a new place. So at the other place, I wouldn't have my dog around me or with me. But because I moved to a new place now, he's always here. So
your dog is stupid, man.
He is. No, he's awesome, man.
No, he would see me every day and still bark at me every single day.
But it's only with you, when somebody else comes, he's like, after spending 5 minutes with him, he's like totally friendly. But with you, it's like,
55% comments on Tucker, 45% about AP's dog, apostate pooch. Just saw a video from 6 years ago where D Wood told everyone to vote for Mike Winger in the Apologetics March Madness. This is the proof. Yeah, right. People are joking. Keep doing the laugh. We should just do the Tucker laugh the entire time. Romans 5:8. We got Romans 5:8. We got to end on this good note. This show will not end on many good notes. The only Islamic debater I've respected is Dr. Ali. That's Shabir Ali. I would like to say that I have nothing to say.
Prince Ali.
Daniel wouldn't off our cousin because that's wifey. Okay, he wouldn't give you. That's called bisexual lighting, by the way, AP, just for your information.
That's why I have it.
D. Wood, how long do you think it will take Muslims to say the Al-Zut helped Muhammad fulfill the Song of Solomon? This is the proof. Did you know that Tucker Carlson, now when I read his name, I just naturally am saying Tucker Carlson. I had to correct myself. Tucker Carlson's dad was known as a fierce defender of Israel who equated Palestinians with World War II Germans. That's weird. That's pretty extreme. Hamas are really lovely people. Waiting for Tucker to say it. Tucker loves America. Tucker loves America in the Zut sense. Yeah, he wants to zoot everyone. What do you think the solution is for the message of Christianity in the West is so weak? Mainly the teachings in churches and mainstream voices. What are your thoughts, AP?
Yes. Wait, what do you think the solution is for the message of Christianity in the West is so weak? What do you think the solution is for the message of Christianity in the West is so weak? Mainly the teachings in churches and mainstream. What do you want my opinion on this? It's supposed to be your opinion.
Yeah, so guys, here's how it happens. People can improve, society can improve and get to a place where people generally get along and so on. And when you do that, it's just natural to start dialing down hostility against other groups. Why? Because it's, hey, we're not killing each other. That's good, right? Then you'll have a group that sees this and takes advantage of the fact that everyone's trying to some extent to get along and not killing each other over things and so on.
That's too difficult.
And so you'll have another group jump in, and then they'll use that to try and destroy everyone. And guess what? Over time, people will adapt out of the get along with everyone mode. It'll happen over time. And what sucks is once everyone is in a more, nope, time to fight mode, well, guess what? Then they're going to stay like that for a while. So civilization as you know it is not going to last. Sorry, but that's just reality. Hi, Dr. Wood. It was an honor discussing the dilemma with you yesterday. It's a shame few Muslims will defend Islam, so Christians have to. Yep, he called in to give what he thinks is the best response to the Islamic dilemma, and we were discussing that and so on because it's just
that's funny.
Muslims won't do it. We got to find a way to get some of the Islam followers to go to China. By the way, Japan now banned selling land to Islam followers for burial ground. They are telling them to leave. What are the chances we get something like that here? Oh, you eventually will. Just, oh, look, here we have your dog. Doggo detected the psychopath. That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't going to say it. Muslims in Japan are complaining about MP Lady Mizuho Umehara denying permission to have Muslim burial grounds in Japan. I applaud her. It's very Islamophobic. You want as many Muslims as possible in your tiny little island country. AP's dog probably thinks D Wood is Dia. An angel. AP, owning a dog is ruksa only in cases of genuine da'wah. What is your hajjah for owning it? Trying to master Islamic lingo. How am I doing?
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty basic.
Well, I make my own rules, so you know.
Yeah.
I am my own mufti.
And all right, guys, let's go ahead and check out. So anyway, I mentioned earlier, if you weren't here, that I went to, people were talking about Tucker's discussion with Piers Morgan, and I looked up Tucker and Piers Morgan debate, and this something from almost a year ago or something like that popped up, but they're in Saudi Arabia, so just like check this out because it is an awesome background. Look at this.
Piers Morgan, thank you. Sorry. Telling off-color jokes off camera. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure.
We are in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
We are.
I'm not even going to ask you how you wound up here, but I'm glad to see you.
Well, we're both here for the same reason, actually.
We've both gone into the oil business.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So anyway, that was them a while back, and they had a discussion. You guys can check that out. But then they had one. I think they're in where are they? Are they in Tucker's studio or something like that? Let's check it out. All right, so guys, this is the clip where they're having a discussion. They're discussing about what's going on in the UK and how much should they be concerned about immigration and so on. And then Tucker starts making his he has to insert, not in the Zoot sense, but he has to insert Islam wherever he can. And so he starts making some remarks about how he's actually closer to Pakistani cab drivers than he is to leftist journalists and so on. So anyway,
I agree that he is.
Yep, he is. Oh yeah, he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. Here we go.
I have done a couple segments on the Second World War that have been very kind of shallow and not even really talking about the details or whatever. You're a Holocaust denier. Obviously, I'm not. Whatever that means. Hitler killed a ton of Jews. That's terrible.
But you haven't done the cookie math of Nick Fuentes, Tucker. Why don't you? Oh, actually, he may have asked him about that. I didn't see it. I saw a clip. But anyway, I don't know if Nick got to use his famous cookie argument, which is stupid if you pay attention to what people.
Wait, did that happen?
What?
Did the Piers Morgan Nick thing happen?
Yeah, didn't they had a whole show, man. I think that was when you were in Israel, man. Look it up real quick just to verify. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. You mean, okay, Tucker. Yeah, okay. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about Piers? Because Piers just invited. Yeah, because no, matter of fact, that's how I knew about it because you shared it. You're like, wait a minute. He's like, I won't let Islamophobes on my show. I don't want any Islamophobes on my show. And then he wants Nick Fuentes, the king of the gripers, on his show. Why? Because Nick gets a lot of views. That's what. Can you imagine that? This guy has all these sick. This guy says some of the sickest stuff ever. Yeah, he praises Stalin, praises Hitler, praises all this stuff. Wants a white Catholic nation and so on. And everyone's like, "Wow, your views really shoot up if you get this guy on because of his Groiper following." And they're like, "Hey, let's platform him as much as possible."
So that's been a diversion, really, that specific conversation from a much more important, broader conversation about what that war did to the West. And I think it's totally objectively fair to say the West, specifically by which I mean your country, which is really the seat of the West, has been in decline since the war. So, like, what is that? Do you know?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's been in decline since the war. There was a lot of recovery after the war. It was a devastating war. I mean, one of the most extraordinary aspects of that war is that Winston Churchill, who many people here to this day believe pretty well single-handedly rallied the morale of the people here to help us defeat the Nazis, albeit with obviously America's help, that he, in the end, at the end of the war, he got thrown out of office because so many people came back to a really bad lifestyle. A lot of impoverishment, a lot of homelessness, and so on.
Well, maybe were there other reasons? Like,
no, that was why they took it out.
Did Germany attack you first?
Look at this. Did you see what you just did? Did Germany attack you first? Did Germany go and start a war with you, or you just jumped into a war that you had nothing to do with, and so you're actually responsible for what happened there?
The funny thing is that the Britain hasn't been in decline since World War II. It was in decline already before World War II. It was in decline at the beginning of the 20th century. In fact, Hitler himself and the Nazis prominently talked about how the British Empire has been crumbling and England is in decline, and they blamed that actually on the Jews. So this is very, very funny. It's a very funny conversation. You can find that in writings and speeches and conversations of Goebbels, of Hitler, of the Nazis in general. They were at that point. I'm pretty sure he even mentions it in Mein Kampf. They were already talking about how the British Empire is in decline and it is crumbling, as everybody can see, because of Jewish influence, because of Jewish power, because of Jewish money, and they want to do the same thing to Germany. That's what he was talking about. Of course, it was in decline from the position that it was before, from an imperial perspective. But it had nothing to do with Jews, and it was also highly exaggerated. It was simply abandoning its past policies and all that. During World War II, when the war with Germany started, Britain was in a very pathetic situation, politically, internally speaking. And the idea was generally that Britain will most likely be overrun and lose the war. and that's when Winston Churchill came in and rallied the nation and made them win such a brutal war, which is why he's so popular as a hero.
But did Germany attack them? Did Germany go and try to? Did Germany bomb Winston Churchill?
Actually, technically, it is considered an aggression by Germany because, so this is very funny. That's where you talk about the nuances. You will say Britain is the side that declared the war, but Germany deliberately provoked the war by forcing Britain to interfere into a war, because Britain and France had binding agreements in place regarding Poland and other nations that would require Britain and France, for example, to jump in a war, in a defensive war, to defend Poland and other nations against German aggression. Hitler was actually very, very clear on that. And that was the plan. That was literally Hitler's plan. So he wanted it. He wanted them to jump in and to fight against Germany. And he was convinced that he would defeat England.
Groiper detected. Groiper alert. Groiper alert. Groiper alert.
Is that what happened?
What do you mean?
Did they attack you?
Did Germany attack Britain? Is that how you got into a war with Germany?
Germany attacked Poland.
Oh, but not the UK.
But not
No.
the UK.
Okay. That's
They wanted.
So you voluntarily joined the war.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember? All we want is this little bit of thing right here. This is a little tiny bit of land over here. Oh, that's all you want. Okay, yeah, we'll let him have that. Actually, I want Poland now. Okay, he's trying to take over the entire thing. Now we're on to him. Shame on us for.
This is the dumb thing about Piers Morgan. He doesn't know how to. He gets baited and he falls for it every single time. At that point, he should have jumped in and said, "No, that's not how it works. We didn't voluntarily attack. We didn't voluntarily join the war. That's not how it works." And he could have also, of course, if he knew this, maybe he would have brought up. I don't know, but he could have brought up the nuance to it. It doesn't just work like that. It doesn't work like, so they attacked Poland, and then we as Britain, of course, we thought, yeah, we should just join the war. That's not how it works. That's not how it happened. Okay, and the funny thing is that Hitler was very clear long before the war that he wanted Britain to become part of his empire. If you have a guy aggressively taking country by country by country, violating agreements that he makes with you, that they make with you, and then knowing that this other nation is under your protection and you are forced to jump in, and they attack that nation anyway, you should probably fight them, right? That would be the honorable, noble, actually traditional, right way to go about doing things. That would be the diplomatic position. If England had not joined the war, England would have actually betrayed its own values and its own agreements and its own commitments.
Right.
And its own pride.
I'm not defending Hitler, of course, but
Of course, I always have to. I don't work for Qatar, and I don't work. I'm not affirming Hitler. It's just like, wouldn't it be way better if he won?
it's just a fact that you weren't attacked. So when you say that Churchill saved Britain, well, Britain got into the war voluntarily.
Think of the short term, guys. Sometimes you can. People make it very clear what their intentions are because they write about it and talk about it, and they start taking things over, and you realize these guys are trying to take over the whole shebang. I can either wait until they're so massive that I can't possibly do anything about it, and then I'm going to lose, or I can jump in now before they're so powerful that I can't hope to win. Which do I want to do? And the tendency as people is to just wait till things are so out of control that it's going to be a bloodbath trying to stop it.
Well, not voluntarily. One of our neighbouring European countries was attacked, and it was quite clear that Adolf Hitler and the Nazis wanted to take over Europe. This was an existential threat to Europe and therefore to the UK. So
you're arguing that he would have come for the UK?
100%.
Even though
I think it's very naive to
your politicians and there's like not one person who was saying that in.
Oh, wait. Yeah. The guy who made an alliance with the Soviet Union and then broke the alliance and attacked the Soviet Union. Yeah. That's definitely a guy you can trust completely when, hey, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you. No, we're good. No, we're good with you. Just mind your own business. We'll take over everything else. And then you'll just be fine. We'll leave you there forever, and we won't conquer you at all because we don't want everything.
So even not just with the Soviet Union, but even directly with Britain, Britain jumped in when Germany occupied Czechoslovakia and made a deal with Hitler that where Hitler basically very, very much agreed that he is going to abstain from further invasions if he accepts this deal. And Hitler then later on immediately betrayed the deal, violated the deal, and continued with his conquests. So he directly defied any agreement that he made with Britain as well. And the funny thing is, so this is why Piers is not the person who should be talking about this. He directly in Mein Kampf talked about mentions that he has to. That Germans have to eventually take over France, and that also regarding England, that England has to accept Germany's role as the leading and only power in Europe. And if they do not accept this, then they have to eventually end up facing each other in a conflict. This is what Hitler himself said. And he also, over the years, as he took power, repeatedly said that it is inevitable that England would become part of the German empire, of the German influence. So it was very clear that he would eventually either try to diplomatically subjugate or directly attack and take over England. This wasn't just a guessing game. He made that very clear.
And it's just weird. It's another situation where you shouldn't take him seriously, right? You shouldn't take this guy seriously. Shouldn't take this guy over there seriously. Hey, he's invading here and invading here, but he's not invading you yet. I mean, he says that's the plan. You're gonna get on board with him one way or another, whether you like it or not. But the idea that you should stop him before he can actually do it. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you guys? Wanted to get down to one particular super chat here because it's an important comment. Let's see. Qatar provides Zutman to Greenwald. Uh-oh. AP can't confirm if that's a dog or a girlfriend. It's a dog. I met that dog. Who's better, Piers or Tucker? Piers.
Yep, definitely Piers.
What is that? What is that is to Tucker what you see is to Dawagandist. Yeah, they go, you see.
What is that?
And Tucker goes,
what is that?
Hashtag Turkey is Greek. Is that true, AP?
Yes.
Okay, here's a comment I wanted to get to. After losing World War I, guys, keep in mind, the Germans here, they had just fought this big war that led to millions of deaths. After losing World War I, the Germans were under strict obligations to limit military, Treaty of Versailles, and the Nazis violated it, and the Brits and the French were supposed to enforce it, but Chamberlain was picking his nose.
That's true. But that's a very nuanced conversation, and that's actually one of those things where that the Nazis appealed to emotions and used as a good excuse to do their expansionism and their war. Undeniably, the conditions imposed upon Germany after the First World War were very, very messed up, and catapulted the German population into great suffering and poverty. And that was not good at all. And everybody historically agrees that that was a terrible situation. And the Nazis knew very well to exploit that and to say to the German population, look what they have done to us. We have to stop them. Now is our time to rise up and to become a power and defeat all of them and so on. It's very complicated.
1939-40.
Well, no, Neville Chamberlain wasn't, because he totally misread what was going on. Winston Churchill completely read correctly what was going on and came out of the wilderness to actually come and save us.
That's true.
I think
I think you signed a treaty with Poland that locked you into a course of action that destroyed your country. I'm just saying.
You don't honestly think...
Locked you into a course of action that destroyed your country. That's the British involvement in World War II. It was you stupid idiots, you destroyed your country by fighting the Germans. But I'm not affirming Hitler. I'm not affirming Hitler. I'm just should have let him take over the world.
It didn't destroy the country, man. The Nazis did a great deal of destruction to London and to Britain. because they quickly seized air superiority, which is why the British population thought we were losing this war.
Oh yeah, they bombed the crap out of them, man.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's so funny because just a few seconds earlier he was saying, "Oh, so you went into it voluntarily," and now he says, "So you had a signed agreement that forced you into it."
Oh, which destroyed your country. Shame on you for making that agreement with Poland.
So they didn't go in voluntarily. So they had to go in.
They were required, right?
Yeah.
The Nazis would have stopped at Poland.
I have no idea. I'm just saying.
Yes, you do, Tucker. Come on.
I'm just going by what contemporaneous sources said. I have no idea. Hitler invaded Russia, so obviously that's deranged and incredibly destructive. So I don't know is the truth. He was focused on communism. No one doubts that. This was not a communist country. But I'm just saying Britain voluntarily joined the war. It was a war that you were not involved in and you got in. But my question is, why did it destroy Britain? I don't understand. As the victor nation.
It didn't destroy Britain.
Well, look outside.
Look outside.
We're in the city of London.
Hang on.
Tucker seems to have this idea, and it's completely deranged, and you wonder how he can have this idea.
Hang on.
If you had if Germany had won, then this would all be different, and you wouldn't be facing these problems right now. But you did fight Germany, and you won. But defeating Germany didn't lead to all this. And any problems that are in Great Britain right now, that's the result of some bad ideas that are not because you defeated the Germans.
This is actually a Nazi talk.
They're different. They're different things, guys. They're different things. It's like
this is actually a Nazi talking point. People should be aware of this, but this is a popular Nazi talking point, and he adopted that talking point, which really raises a lot of questions about what in the world Tucker Carlson is doing and what he's trying to do. The whole idea that Britain fought on the wrong side, they fought this war, but then it all just became worse because look outside and all that. This is a typical Nazi talking point. It is completely nonsensical. There is no logical, there is no coherence to it at all. They can point at what exactly Britain was not going to do, how it was not going down the drain, and how the Second World War caused it to go down the drain. But they will somehow present World War II and England's involvement in the Second World War as a cause for England's downfall today, and will therefore say the Nazis weren't actually the bad guys. We fought the bad guys, and they destroyed, and we got destroyed as a result. This is a Nazi talking point.
So basically, guys, you can say anyone did anything, and then anything that happened after that, you could say, oh, it's because of that. And it's like, how is it because of that? I mean, are bad things happening in the UK right now the result of fighting in World War I? Like, is that the cause of it? You could say it, right? Or something before that, or before that, or before that. You could point to any problem the United States is going on right now and say, is that because the United States fought in World War II? Or is it because the United States fought in Vietnam? Or is it because the United States fought in Korea? Or is it something separate and it's the result of some bad ideas or bad policies or something like that? Tucker, nope. Problems you guys have right now are because you fought the Germans. If you hadn't fought the Germans, everything would be going really, really well. You'd all be speaking German right now, singing Deutschland, Deutschland über alles, but, at least you wouldn't have this problem right here. Anyway,
it's Tower Bridge. It's the Tower of London. Magnificent.
Well,
office blocks
it changed London.
Why do you look at this and see a wrecked country? I don't.
Well, I don't see an English country. So we're in the city of London now.
What do you mean there?
So now it's because you fought the Germans. Now you're bringing in all these people, and it's because you fought the Germans. You could have been the smallest freaking province in the German Empire, but you chose not to be. And now look at what you've got. Lots of immigration.
What do you mean by that?
It's not. Well, people whose ancestors built Stonehenge are not here anymore. So the city of London is 36% white, and that's happened in the last, 40 years.
But England is about 70% white.
Nazis, man.
It's because you fought the Germans.
That didn't happen because of World War II, man. You could argue that England ended up importing large parts of workers to fix things and took them from, Muslim countries, and that is what contributed to this. So you could say, yeah, maybe fighting in the war led to this in some way, but that's not really how it works. England could have fixed that problem in many other ways. They chose to pick that really dumb solution.
Yeah. In other words, you go back 20 years and just have some people in charge with some better ideas or a better informed population, and you wouldn't be having the problems that you have right now. You could go back to once the grooming gangs were starting, you could go back and have a different kind of population with different leaders in charge who would say, oh, we have to crack down on this right now. We're not going to be silenced by claims of racist and Islamophobia. We're not going to fall for that. In other words, how does defeating Germany in World War II ultimately just inevitably lead to you backing down from being called Islamophobes to where, Islam can take them? By the way, what's his problem with Islam taking over? I thought that was good, man. That's like Hitler would have saved you, according to Tucker, but now Sharia can save you. It's just going to be like the UAE or something, right, Tucker? It's going to be awesome. So what are you complaining about? It's good. It's good if Islam takes over, Tucker, because Islam is good. Remember, we should just let the Taliban take over. They do a bang up job. They'll stop all the things you're worried about.
Look at this. Think about this. So here is what Hitler wanted from England, right? The idea that these people were present here is that England jumped into the war and thereby voluntarily fought. Here is what Hitler actually, by his own speeches and his own statements and his own planning, wanted.
What do you know about Hitler's speeches, apart from memorizing all of them? Anyway.
What Hitler wanted from England was, we have no problem with England as long as they quietly submit to our expansionism and to our rule and step aside and step out of our way. As Germany, we eventually want to take over France, want to take over all the Netherlands and Belgium and all the other minor countries, want to expand to Scandinavia and somehow subjugate or directly take over and annex those places, want to take over Poland, want to take Czechoslovakia, unite Austria, then have a border with Italy as the other fascist nation, expand into the Balkans, then fight against Russia eventually and take all of Russia after we massacre their population as a living space for our Germanic people. So we and we can maybe figure out a deal with Spain, or they can become our subjects under a fascist rule. All of this, England should allow for us to simply happen. They should just step aside and be good boys. So, listen to that. All of Europe would be taken over completely by Hitler. He clearly laid this out and very explicitly said these things, and was also pushing forces to be ready on the wait, by the way, for an invasion of Britain. And according to Tucker Carlson here, Britain should have just, under these circumstances, be like, okay, yeah, we'll just sit here and just watch all that happen, with the hopes that that Hitler won't eventually invade us. Right? You absolute moron.
Yeah, it's completely moronic. By the way, notice how these things are connected, right? It's like extremely short-sighted thinking. You can guess what, Tucker? There are groups that really want to take over and dominate the world, right? That was one of them. If you're a group that doesn't want to be dominated by these guys, you don't want them to take over half the world and then go, what about these guys over here? You don't want them to get that powerful. You don't, right? You want to stop their momentum. But think about that, right? Why should we care about Israel? It's a different country. Why should we care? Why should we care? Who cares if they get taken over? There are some of us who really, we've pointed out before, I think you would get the revival of a caliphate very quickly after that. They consider that the obstacle. If we're not powerful enough to retake Israel, if we're not powerful enough to, why do we think we're going to be able to like actually have a caliphate again? What AP, don't we have Hamas saying, yes, we deal with these guys, then we reestablish the caliphate? Do they not say that? Yes. Okay. So in other words, you could actually think, Well, if they took over Israel, what's that got to do with us? It's got nothing to do with us. We're over here. We're over here. We're like we're on the other side of an ocean. What's that got to do with us? Well, believe it or not, that can sort of revitalize some serious attempts to conquer the entire world. And then you get a massive bloodbath, and it's like he's only thinking like 5 seconds ahead of anything. And pretty stupid thinking.
Somebody just brought up a very good point. I lost sight of it, but somebody just said, didn't Tucker justify Russia's war against Ukraine based on the idea that, based on NATO expansionism, allegedly? This is very funny. That's actually a very good point.
Interesting. So so Russia can see NATO expanding and go, you know what? We don't like the idea of you guys expanding because that could eventually be bad for us and it might be too powerful. And so we need to stop this now by jumping into Ukraine. And Tucker, well, see, it's perfect reasoning. They can look and see these guys are planning to expand, and they could think we don't want to wait. We don't want to wait until they're too powerful. We have to go in now.
So according to him, a defensive union like NATO, if it plays with the thought of accepting Ukraine as a member state or an observer state, can be seen as dangerous enough to justify an aggressive, brutal war against Ukraine by Russia. That is completely justifiable. That's completely cool. But when you have something like Hitler brutally expanding, invading country after country after country after country with clear intent to also eventually subjugate England should just stay out of there. Great reasoning, man.
Weird stuff. It's weird how he's always on the pro-Russia side, Russia right, Russia good, and always against the U.S. side, but while saying things that are going to resonate, like in this entire little section right here, it's going to be, think about all the immigration. All the people, you're being replaced, guys. You're being replaced by all these immigrants. It's not even England anymore. There are tons of people who are like, wow, right. This is what I say, guys. They'll say all kinds of things you agree with. But what's his actual conclusion? See, you should have fought Hitler, you idiots. What are you, stupid? You should have left him alone and let him take over. This is some sick, evil stuff, man. And people love it. It's weird. Let's see.
Okay. Well, it was 99% in 1945.
Okay, so we've evolved.
But you're on the way to becoming the minority in the country. So no one wants to say that. I think you can get arrested for saying that here. Well, no, that's not white supremacy. This is the indigenous population of the country.
Well, it's a statistical fact that I think by 2100, we will be a minority white country.
2063 as of today.
Well, I've read a bit later.
But these are dynamic numbers, so they change.
Yeah, but here's my question for you. So what?
Well, let me refer to the beginning of our conversation when you said that the people who live in a...
Pause. Okay, so here, unfortunately, I have to agree with Tucker Carlson.
That's the point! That's the point! And so will tons of people in the UK. They'll go, Tucker's right, Tucker's right, Tucker's right. And what's the conclusion? Shouldn't have stopped the Nazis. Shouldn't have done it. They were the good guys. They were the ones who were going to save you. They were your saviors. That's his conclusion. But you'll have people, wow, great point, great point. And this is the same guy. Sharia's great. Sharia's good, man. Everything except you guys. Everything's great.
That is exactly the problem. So, of course, I have to disagree with Piers Morgan here and consider Piers Morgan's objection of, well, so what, as completely stupid, and have to agree with Tucker Carlson here. But this is how he gets you. This is how people like this get you. And the funny thing is that he's also that Tucker Carlson acknowledges here the problem of a population, of the native population becoming a minority, but for some reason he has a big issue with talking about Sharia law and talking about Muslims. Excuse me, who are the primary demographic, the primary people who are replacing this white British population?
That's what I mean. Muslims. Isn't this good, Tucker? Isn't it good? Isn't it good? Because guess what? I mean, think, he was sitting there saying how Muslim countries are better than U.S. cities and so on. Muslim cities are better than U.S. cities. Oh, look, you just leave your keys in your car. It's great. It's better. Okay, we're saying the U.K. has all this problem. Wouldn't Sharia be the solution, Tucker? It's so great.
He's such a hypocrite, man.
That's what I mean. It's like, anyway, it's weird stuff.
Country define the character of that country. And then you said, yes, all the things for which we were famous and in which we had pride, like our stoicism, our concern for others, our tidiness, the cleanest country in the world now, it's pretty filthy, all those things change when you get new people moving there. You said that. I mean, you're the racist, not me. So I'm just using the parameters that you set. I
did not say that was down to.
He said no.
No, you didn't say you didn't.
White people coming to the country.
Well, that's who live.
People should pronounce Nazis as Nazis.
I believe that.
No, but that's what you said.
I said there was creaking pressure on public services.
No.
From the increased
but
population.
You also maybe foolishly admitted the truth. You could get arrested for this, so I know the stakes are high. But you said that when the people who live in a country change, so does the culture, which is like the most obvious. It's like when it rains out, it gets wet. That's not a controversial observation, but it's illegal here because it is true. And my only point is not against, I've already said, I like the Bangladeshis better than I like the liberal whites in your country. A lot more. They've never yelled at me.
Catch that? That's how he decides he likes them more. They don't yell at him like the way journalists do, and journalists attack Tucker Carlson, but Bangladeshis aren't saying anything about why. Well, he's going around defending Sharia. I don't know if anyone has noticed. They love him. When he posts a comment like that, it's tons of Muslims. Wow, Tucker's heart is changing. Alhamdulillah, he will convert soon. Oh my goodness. And he's like, wow, these guys really like me. Well, I like them. I like the Pakistanis and the Bangladeshis. They're on my side. It's these other guys who disagree with me and say mean things to me.
So he doesn't have a problem with the white population being replaced by Bangladeshis, for example, does he? As long as
he's on their side,
they're replacing white liberals. So apparently, just white people. He doesn't have a problem with it. Okay, well, then why is he acting like he has a problem with it?
That's what there's no coherent position here. He doesn't have a coherent position. He'll say a bunch of stuff that is appealing to some group and then like add in some really, really screwed up ideas that are always like pro-Russia, pro-Nazi, pro-Islam, pro-Sharia and stuff. But he's saying all these things that people agree with and they fall for it, man.
Hey, it's Nazi, man, not Nazi.
Nazi.
You're right. Nazi. It's Nazi.
Cotton Hill and King of the Hill called him Nazis, so I'm calling him Nazis.
Saying the things
that he killed 50 men. So I'm not arguing. Why are you doing that, man? They'll put the freaking child block on here if you say it enough.
Made Britain. England. Is there still an England? I have no idea. Those are going away because there are different people living here. And if you think that those are good things in the same way that the Swedes or the Chinese or the people in Burundi and Chad, they like their culture. It's their ancestors' culture. And now it's gone. And like, why can't we say that's bad?
Well, because you may think it's bad.
It's good?
I love living in a very multicultural
But you're rich. I mean, you're rich. And you go.
Good
yeah,
point.
I'm sure that Piers Morgan loves living in a very multicultural culture when he just lives in some very nice neighborhood there and not among the actual people.
That's true, and it's the same with the politicians. They have all these rich politicians who are we can bring in as many Muslims from Afghanistan and Pakistan as possible. It's all great. We don't see any problem because you don't live around them at all. You're not the blonde-haired white girl who walks out and gets endlessly harassed and can't even walk to the train station anymore.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with it. And same thing with Piers here. Gosh, man, Tucker's right. He must be right about everything. Sharia good. That's how it works, guys.
The white parts of London, they're exactly the same as they were when I was a child. I've been coming here for 50 years. They're exactly the same. What neighbor I'm saying is exactly the same.
Which do you think is a white part of London?
I'm not going to tell you.
Well, that's a little test for you. Which area of London do you think is white?
The one I'm staying in right now. The one where my relatives live.
I thought you liked the Bangladeshis and Pakistanis, Tucker.
The good ones are white.
Do you see? Do you see this? I feel more at home with the Pakistanis and the Bangladeshis. I'm on their side. I'm close to them than I am these white liberals. Where are you staying? In the white liberal part. Gosh.
It's
where?
I'm not going to say.
No, you don't want to say because you know that I'll immediately say, "Come on." There's loads of non-white people living there. There's no.
By the way, I'm not against non-whites.
There's no exclusively white area.
Okay. I am not now, nor have I ever been. And let me just restate: I think I have a lot more in common with the Pakistani cab driver than I do with the average Guardian staffer who's white.
I agree.
Yeah, you both like Sharia.
Yeah.
You're both big fans of Sharia. But here's the thing, Tucker, that the average Guardian staffer loves Islam too. What are you disagreeing with them about? No, because they criticize you? You're all on the same page when it comes to Sharia. You love it. The Guardian writer loves it. and the Pakistani cab driver loves it. You guys all love it. You all love it. I don't know what you're complaining about here.
But you're inferring that the more
I'm not inferring anything.
Well, you're referring the more multicultural that Britain has become in terms of other ethnicities coming to live here, then the worse it's got. And I'm saying those two things,
I'm saying in
my view, are not automatically linked.
And
there are lots of white people who behave very badly in this country.
Well, I've met them, and they yell at me. So yes,
the white people.
They yell at me.
They yell at me. They say, "Hey, Tucker, you say stupid things. Stop defending Hitler." I can't stand it, man. I can't stand it. But the Pakistani cab driver, he's like, "Hey, you're a very good guy. You're a very good guy. Oh, look, 12-year-old girl. I wonder if I can take her to a kebab shop."
I just, for the fifth time, I have more in common with the sincerely religious Pakistani cab driver than I do with anyone
who believes in Sharia and believes in conquering you.
Who works at the Times of London. That is just a fact. I don't like those people. I don't want to eat with them. And they're white. So all true. All I'm saying is the qualities that made Britain the greatest country in the world were linked directly to the people who live here. And so, of course, by definition, multicultural means less of some cultures because there's dilution of the dominant culture. And you've conceded that already.
There are lots of people who are non-white, who've been born and raised in this country, who've contributed brilliantly
I would never deny
the success of this country, who've risen to the top positions in top industries, whether it's music.
So defensive. I'm not attacking the non-whites. Because you're worried about getting arrested. I get it. And
I'm
by
not
the way,
worried about being arrested.
When they rush in the door with no guns, little bobbies with their sticks.
They might have been.
And they don't even have guns. They're going to come in and beat him up with their sticks because of what he's saying right here. All right, guys. I think we've seen enough. That clip goes on and stuff, but yeah, I just wanted to get to the part where he's saying he has more in common with the devoutly religious Pakistani cab driver.
He probably has more in common with the Zoot too.
Yeah, ask the tens of thousands of victims of the grooming gangs how much they like the Pakistani cab drivers. I just remember when reading the stories over and over again. Oh, drag me into a cab, grab me in a cab. Oh, pick me up in a cab, then drag me out there, and then took me to this house where I was gang. Anyway, good stuff, man. Good stuff. My fellow Canadians an ocean away don't consider us joining the war as voluntary either. It's called helping allies when they're being attacked. It's not rocket science. That's how I view it, right? You got some guy, and you screwing with my friends, man? Huh? I got friends in Poland. You think you're going to go conquer them? Not on my watch. Not on my watch.
The funny thing is that I've encountered during these conversations people who also accuse America of voluntarily jumping into the war and all that, when America was directly attacked during the Second World War and then eventually jumped into the war. I mean, America basically was waiting for an opportunity to jump into the war, but still they did get attacked directly by Japan and then eventually did jump into it, which, by the way, was also Hitler's greatest fear. And well, he got it.
Mess around, find out. Imagine being a Gentile worried about the ruling of the Council of Jerusalem in 50 AD. Y'all think Tucker is bad. What if you had to chop the tip off? Al-Zudi Gelmedin. What is this? This some Turkish nonsense?
That is Turkish.
What?
It says, before Al-Zud comes, save your butt.
Save your butt before the Al-Zud comes. Versailles catapulted Germans into poverty. No, it didn't, AP. Read Sally Mark's paper, Mistakes and Myths. Germany never actually paid. In your face.
Dude, huge economic conditions, including trade restrictions and everything, was imposed on Versailles. Even the Holocaust museums will agree and say that the German population suffered greatly as a result of Versailles.
You see, guys, it wasn't the Germans' fault. It was Versailles' fault. Blame them.
No.
For everything that happened.
I mean, there is. You don't have to agree with every single. You don't have to disagree with every single thing. There were terrible conditions, and those terrible conditions and the humiliation is what the Nazis took advantage of.
Tucker Carlson. Muslims are great, but they also ruin UK. Watch my show. Tucker, what is K? Just runs on false post hoc, ergo propter hoc. Yep. Over and over again. Tucker getting his $7 million. Yep, getting paid. Tucker's dad was a far-right journalist, married an heiress to Swanson Food. His family has always followed cash, even as a kid. And as AP was pointing out, he was basically admitting it, right? When it's, hey, I didn't believe what I said about Islam for 20-some years. I didn't believe that stuff. But that was my job, because that's who was paying me. People were paying me, and so I said what I was paid to say. But now I'm defending Sharia and Qatar and Muslim countries and basically everything not American or not UK. But I'll still use talking points that appeal to Americans and that appeal to UK people to get them to accept the other things I'm being paid to say. The Nazis wanted to reestablish the Holy Roman Empire and telling Brits, who was the big boy, to step aside. Change of world order, like how China is now challenging the US. We should be asking who is better for the world. Well, obviously Russia and Islam. What's Tucker think about China? Let me guess. They're great, right? They're great and they should take over the world. I have an idea. If the West really feels the need to import the Muslim world, they should also import the same amount of goats to keep them occupied. What is this? Is this Valentina Gomez jumping in here? Anyway. Is Christian Gadfly a Sharia law expert? Yeah, I would guess. Christian Gadfly is a lawyer, everyone, so that makes him an expert in Sharia law. Yeah, he should go on there. I suspect he would know more than that other guest Tucker had talking about Sharia law and how going to law school makes you an expert on Sharia law. All right, AP. We've seen these guys really love. I titled this Tucker and Piers Love Islam. Isn't it interesting? Because it's two different ways, right? Tucker defends Sharia, says how great it is. It's so much greater than things are in Western cities. Muslim cities are so much better. The Taliban, you've just been brainwashed to have a problem with the Taliban. You've been brainwashed to have a problem with Sharia. Islam's impact on women. Oh no, people are just complaining about women not being able to get PhDs in feminist studies. That's what's going on here and so on. So he's saying all that kind of all that stuff, but he's critical. He's critical for some reason of bringing in tons of Muslim immigrants into the UK. He's got a problem with that. Whereas Piers is fine with bringing in tons of Muslim immigrants to the UK. So they both love Islam, and they're both defending Islam and a takeover, just in completely different ways and arguing about it. When it's weird, they're kind of on the same page as far as Islam taking over. Tucker just thinks it's better than Western systems, since, we only had one thing. We could have gone with the Nazis and then things would have been okay. But since we left them, therefore Sharia is better. And Piers, it's just, well, let Islam take over because it's great too. Anyway, really, really weird, wild stuff. These guys have massive, huge followings. I have more in common with sounds very rehearsed. Yeah, almost like it was a line given to him with a price tag attached. All right, AP, what's going on, man? Update everyone.
I'm just currently working on finishing the Zut train video, and then I'm going to publish the Zut song on Spotify and on everywhere else.
And
everybody's asking about it all the time.
Is one we eventually need our planned music video for. You play any instruments beside the shofar?
What?
Do you play any instruments besides the shofar that you are the greatest at?
I'm learning.
I've seen you mess around the lyre or something like that.
You liar! Yeah, liar. I'm practicing the lyre, and at the same time practicing some other things, but mostly the lyre. I like the lyre.
I'm just saying, because when we record the video in a honky-tonk bar, you're going to have vocab as Prophet Muhammad. We're going to need like 20 al-zut behind him, 30 al-zut if possible. They're going to be dancing behind him. I'll sing the song. We'll have the band, but you kind of need to be there. You need to like be the guitar player or something like that, even if you're not really playing. You know what I mean?
I can just pretend. Yeah,
for all the close-ups and stuff like you'll actually with your beard and stuff like this, and with the correct get up and a cowboy hat on, you'll actually look. We'll make a redneck out of you, man. We'll make a redneck out of you for the Zoot song.
But I want to add an Islamic element to it, so got to do that.
We can.
Let's do it.
All right, these last couple. Are we going on your channel tomorrow?
Yes.
You're about to travel some, but are we going on your channel before you leave?
That's funny. I keep forgetting that I'm traveling. We might not actually, but I'll see. I'll check it out. I'll let you know.
Tucker's demon attack sounds a bit zooty. Yeah, it does. Yep. Yeah, I'm just sitting in bed, and the 30 demons showed up. 30 demons showed up and held me down and zooted me, and then left a big scratch. They left a big crack. But vast majority of UK migration happened in early 2000s, way after World War II, and had nothing to do with the Blitz. Yeah, that's the point. Dawood, did you get my email? Oh, yeah. I got all the Hakikachu graphics. I have to see when I will use them. Daniel features in my video for tomorrow. You guys definitely want to check that out. I'm not sure what I'm doing with the thumbnail or title yet. I have to figure that stuff out later. But, yep. Those will be used. That's fun. All right, everyone. Glad we are learning about Tucker Carlson, Piers Morgan people in wealthy people who don't suffer the consequences of what they're convincing people of. Dangerous times, dangerous times, everyone.
David, child marriage is bad. Yeah. It is really bad. David, grooming gangs are bad. It's really bad.
The grooming gangs. Oh, the grooming gang. The grooming gangs won't let us get PhDs in feminist studies. Oh yeah, we're really supposed to be worried about that.
And what's wrong with having sex? I thought it's a good thing. I thought everybody's supposed to.
Sex is a good thing. I don't know why you'd be against that. I mean, come on. I notice how Pierce don't care how the indigenous population would disappear because they would be long gone by that time. Tarleton and Morgan are both sellout and hiding. Again, rich people who don't have to deal with the things they support. Can you gentlemen speak about how Satan pees in the ears of the Muslim believers? For Sayrate in the chat.
Yeah, that sounds pretty Islamophobic, but
Satan pees in your ears. Yeah. What's your point?
Peeing in your ears. Yeah, I have to make a song about that.
It's no great mystery. You should make a song about that. You should make a song. You've got all those weird little things about Satan farting when he hears the adhan and sleeping in your nose and stuff. You can just put all that stuff into one super dope song. Made
a note of it.
Please consider covering the Florida MSA incident. Cam Higbee did an interview. Street preachers are falsely being accused of a hate crime for preaching to an unauthorized Muslim public prayer at a university. Oh yeah, I still haven't. I've seen how it's been represented, but I haven't. I didn't look into the details yet. Let's see. People put in. We were closing out, but people put in a bunch of super chats at the last second. Can you gentlemen speak? Okay, we talked about that. Now, oops. Okay, we got that. And last one here. Tucker sounds like a demonic Mickey Mouse. That's a good description. All right, everyone. Cool stuff coming out tomorrow. Unless something goes horribly wrong tonight, should have I can't say it's my favorite video of all time, because I've had some videos that are like really I just loved. But I think this may be the most brutal smackdown of Islam I've ever made. And in that sense, it will be my favorite video against Islam ever. So we'll see what happens. And Tucker's laugh seems like blink if you're in danger. Yeah. My first super chat. Tossing in a super chat at the very last second of a live stream. But thanks for that. And all right, guys, closing out now. We will catch you all soon. Fun times ahead.